Another wonderful LinkedIn Live. I can't tell you how thrilled and honored I am to have Jenny Maxwell back again. We've had so many really deep, rich, insightful conversations about LinkedIn, and I would qualify it now more as mindset. You know, bypassing the technical side of it, the salesy side of it, we've determined that the best approach is being a friend. Jenny, I know how much you're into this uh, LinkedIn's capability to really support people and allow people to achieve, full potential.
Agreed. I'm all over that. And, I would love to revisit that word friend. And actually, sometimes you're just giving a person an opportunity to feel seen and heard. Perhaps they're not looking for friendship. They just want a place or a space or an opportunity to share what their struggle is. They don't need you to be their friend. Maybe they're struggling with what they even want.
Mm-hmm.
They know that there's something missing and they're trying to identify what that is. That's where I'm coming from as a coach, at least.
Yeah. And what's so cool is you got to really focus on the beginning, not the end. Right? Too many people engage someone and they want to know in 6 months what's going to happen. Or instead of just focusing on the beginning, which is getting to know each other, right? Getting to share enough information about each other that the other person doesn't have to presume. And we were just talking about it earlier is, what you tend to see as a group is one group that just really is self-actualizing. Where it's all about them. It's all about success. It's all about sharing their success with everybody else, and no one cares. And actually, to me, it's like, why? How successful could you be if you're resorting to doing these things that are such a turnoff, right?
Right, go on. Sorry, no, go on. This is fascinating. I love this so much. Please continue.
Well, you know what it's like? It's like finding a new fruit and kind of peeling it and seeing all these elements that you now have better understanding, which then gives you more confidence when you talk to people to show, and this is so very important, that you are distinctive and differentiated from the crowd, right? You really have what most people should want, which is quality, beginning, intention. I'm here just to see other people who are here to do good and get together and do good together and really be that magnet of goodness, which really just starts with, hello, who are you? Right? And then what do you want to share? And then another person says, here's what I'm willing to share. And it's all on the table. And you say, well, is there something we can put together that makes both of us better than each one of us separate?
Exactly. I think a lot of people are afraid of collaboration, though, because they have that scarcity mindset. What might I lose if I share what I have? So they're holding on to the very thing that is of value to somebody else. It's fascinating.
Oh, it's absolutely fascinating. But the beauty of it is, once you can crack the code, it works every time.
Right.
It's like installing your own ATM machine onto something like LinkedIn Live and punching in the numbers to get whatever you want, whenever you want it. It's that big. If you can make yourself small enough to be more digestible and continue to fortify and nourish people over time. Another thing is most people want to decide who's on top before they get to know who it is.
That is called the easy button.
Yeah, it's like sell you a package. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do, but I'll be the leader.
But also, like with clients, sometimes, like I tell my clients all the time, if I had an easy button, I wouldn't give it to you. I'm not fast tracking you to somewhere you don't even know where you want to be yet, because you're going to miss all of the juicy pieces along the way by jumping from A to Z. You're not actually realizing anything about yourself, what makes you happy, what's causing you discomfort, what's getting in your way, what you might like instead of what you have, all of that good stuff. The easy button doesn't serve you. I encourage people to seek discomfort and sit in that discomfort and recognize where sabotage might be showing up, what I don't want anymore, and figure out who you are as a person. I feel like for a lot of people, at least what was true for me, I didn't know who I was for a really long time. I was so busy listening to other people's expectations, what I was, comparing myself to others, trying to reach some level of success with whatever I was doing, but not even really recognizing, is this what I truly want? And what you're not listening to from that space is your own intuition. You're not listening to that inner gut wisdom, your own voice, which is telling you this doesn't feel right, or that's not really for you. How about trying it this way? You're not listening to that. You're comparing yourself to others, and you're trying to get somewhere that you possibly don't belong. So how about like slowing it all down and let's get back to basics. Sit in the discomfort and start paying attention to your own voice and listening to those signals. Your body's always trying to send you a signal. You're hungry, you're tired, you're thirsty, you're frustrated, whatever the case may be, you're stressed out. And then we're in the habit of like pushing down all of those feelings and emotions, or even our own desires, our wants, whatever it is that we want to experience in this life. And we distract ourselves with what we think everybody else wants us to have or us to be. So there you go.
I think that's beautiful. Basically, because I was just going to say before you said it, slow things down, right? And here's the other thing, what you were saying. Your approach is so unfamiliar to so many people because not many people have taken the time to really ask those questions or to put things in perspective for people. Because here's the thing, everything is moving through transition from the minute you were born. You're not where you are tomorrow. You'll be tomorrow where you are, right? So, and I know it sounds simple, and I've been up and down and all around myself, so I know it's so easy to say, just shake yourself off and get yourself back in the game. But here's where the rubber really meets the road, is when you engage or attach to someone who knows, who can give you a lift, right? Who knows you're kind of stuck, and it'll take the load off of you for a while. Just because there's a plan, there's a map, there's an opportunity. When someone says, I know where you are, I've been there, here's what we need to do to get you where you want to be, right? And that makes all the difference, because then, hey, just let's work on today. People need people, because wherever they are was a factor of people, right? They got into the situation because of a situation with people, and they got to get out of the situation with the help of people. And it's so easy to understand. And LinkedIn, if you can just get beyond oneself, right? Forget about you while you're with them. You can go back to whatever you were, and even that's kind of phony, but it's still better than the whole thing being bad, right?
Right, it's so true. And it's like, how about getting it off your own map, especially if you're a coach? You're not here to teach somebody a lesson. You're there to draw out the very best the very best version of that person based on who they are, not who you are or what you want them to be. It's not about you at all. You are the guide. You're there to shine a light in the dark spots and say, here's what I'm hearing you say. Is this something that is potentially getting in your way? Let's dig a little deeper. What good thing might get to happen if you could let that go and step forward into something amazing? But it's not based on the coach at all. It has nothing, like that's how my approach is. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you. You're driving the bus. I don't have anything to prove, right? I don't have anything to prove here because it's not about me. You can prove to yourself, you can feel empowered by me telling you what I think you should do based on my map is completely disempowering to the other person. And that is not the role of a coach. The coach is to empower your clients to make choices that are in alignment with the person they want to become. So I would love to share this with you. I was working with a client the other day, and he has like so many limiting beliefs based on his upbringing, based on expectations of other people, all of that stuff, right? And he's in his 40s now. And I was asking, like, what do you think we can celebrate right now? And he was so stuck on it. And I said, well, what if you could take a little trip backwards in time to the youngest version of yourself that you can remember? This carefree version of you who was having fun and didn't have the responsibility of anybody else. It was just, life was easy and fun. And he was like, that was a long time ago. I'm like, well, he's still inside of you. Could you imagine being able to go back? I think he said he was like 9 or 10. I said, could you imagine going back to this 9 or 10-year-old version of you and saying, hey, you're going to make it. In your 40s, you're going to have a really successful business with a team that work with you, 2 healthy kids and a beautiful wife, a fabulous home and a great life. And his eyes just like lit up. I'm like, you're here. Despite what you think is in your way right now, you've made it to this point. If you could tell the little version of you that it's going to be okay, could you imagine how liberating that would have been? And he suddenly started sitting in this idea of, oh my God, I have made it to this point, and it's okay to want something more. I did make it. I'm amazing. I'm like, yeah, you are amazing. You know, it's very powerful to recognize your own potential. You know?
Well, and sometimes, again, I was waiting to say, you become like a flashlight, and you said you become like a light. And like on LinkedIn Live, it's the same thing. When I go LinkedIn Live, when we go LinkedIn Live, we're trying to reflect the best in the people out there, right? Let them see it for themselves. Seeing is better than hearing. And participation is everything to make someone the biggest part of their own transformation, because like you say, as a coach, you want to give up dependency and take the best of them and add whatever you can to it, and then let them adopt that for themselves. And then either you can move more with them or move to someone new. But the beauty of it, what I'm thinking, and it's really interesting, I always wonder, why is everybody trying to help everybody with a program? When, if it's such a great program, how come they're not just using it? Then they have to go through someone to get the result from it. And what it really says is, can you just do really well being a thought leader, sharing and exposing things with other thought leaders for the benefit of an audience, and not have to work through people who have limiting beliefs, have challenges that create challenges for you? I mean, how wide and clear of a runway would somebody want for themselves? Right? How far and how big can your voice move? And how many people can you influence in the most casual, comfortable way? And I think it's just a matter of really seeing that facet or nuance that you can share, just like a diamond. If you lift it up and you tell everybody, or a painting, if you look over here, you look over here, you see all this beauty, right? It's like, make everybody a diamond that listens to you, that sees you, because that's the biggest thing, is helping people to help themselves.
Right. But they've got to believe it.
They've got to,
it's
you're right,
only,
but they have to hear it and see it enough on a regular basis to convince themselves that there's another way. There's a lot of people who know they're in a wrong mindset.
mm-hmm.
They know they're not helping themselves. And they don't really have anybody around them who by being around them changes that mindset, right? That tells them how great they are, or how important. Because I think that example with that gentleman is, there's so many people who keep looking up for what they don't have instead of looking down from where they came from.
Or looking either side of them with what they have, because in what they have already. It's like, that's abundance thinking. In order to experience abundance, you have to notice it.
Well, absolutely. And plus, it might be a clue that when you have all these wonderful things and you're miserable, maybe more wonderful things is not the next thing to be thinking about.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
If all you wanted was this wonderful house, and up until a certain point it became an entitlement instead of a luxury, then it's a matter of priorities, it's a matter of values, it's a matter of balance, it's a matter of discipline, it's a matter of timing. I mean, all these variables come together and create either alignment or conflict. And one thing is not going to fix something else. So if you got a house issue, making more money at your job's not going to make a difference. Well, whatever the case. So the point I think it is people don't have a lot of time. People are under a lot of pressure, and people don't have the opportunity just to be frivolous or superficial if they're serious about whatever they're trying to change or improve. So by having LinkedIn Lives like this, I get so many people that when I talk to them outside of this, who listen to LinkedIn Live, say, what I like about when you guys do a LinkedIn Live, it's like being in my living room with me, right? It's not like someone's up at a podium or someone's saying, this is what you need to do. It's just, people need to know, no matter where you are, everything can change.
Yeah. It's letting go of that fear.
Well, if it's not serving you, you know where to find it again.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm saying, if you're sitting in a position you're not happy with, leaving it doesn't burn the bridge to go back to it. So you can always go back to where you were. So why not try to make the change? Why not be open? When there's a saying, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you start making changes.
A lot of that comes back to love, safety, and belonging, honestly. In my experience of working with people, what keeps people very stuck where they are is they're afraid they won't belong with people they have engaged with for a really long time. So they stay stuck because they're afraid of what they might lose. Like, for an example, you might have a couple who are both unhealthy, and one person decides, I want to get healthy, and I want to take care of myself. But the other person isn't interested in that. They're on a different personal development journey. One person is happy where they are, but doesn't want the other person to change, because maybe that makes them feel less than in some way. So person B decides, I better not start taking care of myself, because maybe my partner won't love me anymore. That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Where people go, oh, you know what? I'm not going to rock the boat here. I don't want to hear about it. You know, I don't want to make them feel bad if I start, you know, fitting into my clothes better, or or people start paying me compliments, or I'm feeling more confident. And that is true for anything. If you're in a position at work and you would love to level up in some way and apply for a promotion, but you love your team, you're potentially afraid of not belonging with this group anymore, right? It's like that tall poppy syndrome, well, I don't want anybody to think that I'm behaving like I'm better than them, so I'll just stay exactly where I am. Okay. But it's that fear of losing something. If you can switch your mindset from scarcity to, abundance, you start focusing on what I might gain if I make this change. Perhaps I can lead by example. Doesn't mean you have to brag or show off or anything like that. You can level up, and in turn you can show people how good it is to make a change, and that it's okay to get something wrong, or you can switch things up if they're not working. You can level up and still belong. And guess what? If you want to come along with me, if you want to go on a health journey with me, I'm happy to show you what I did, and we can do it together. It's a mindset shift.
Yeah, and it's a communication opportunity where not everything is absolute, and it's easier to leave somebody or something when you have somebody else there for you, right? And a lot of times people stay together because of their bad habits, and that's the only thing they have in common, right? So I think when people can take even a baby step, which is listening to a LinkedIn Live like this, and maybe that just opens one mind to opening one's mind a little bit more, right? And giving somebody the time and the opportunity on their own to make that decision, because at the end of the day, it's a commitment. If it's going to be realized, and I think on LinkedIn, that's one more reason why people who are bad actors look even worse, because people who are looking for help aren't looking for more distraction or inauthenticity. They're looking for someone who is got the right intention and is demonstrating it. Because here's the point: what does everybody bring to the table every day? Right? And what does everybody take away from it? And the best way to be served is to serve more until right? And just keep serving, and don't worry. If you can get through, you'll get more value by providing as much value as you can than trying to measure and manage and monetize too early, because at the end of the day, it's the value that you pay for everything.
Right. And bearing in mind with that authenticity, it's vital, because the truth of the matter is you can only take your clients as far as you are willing to go yourself. So if you are playing a game of pretend, you're going to plateau. If your client is wanting to work with you because they think you've been through this, this person's going to be able to help me, and suddenly it's the very thing that's keeping you stuck as well. You've been playing pretend. That's a disservice to your community. It's dangerous. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of their time. It's not maintaining proper progress. That drives me nuts.
Well, that points out that, again, someone who takes the right road will distinguish themselves and differentiate themselves and become more valuable to others because they're more of a rarity. And the other thing is people are happier after spending time with them. Yeah. So there is something to the either entertainment or inspiration or distraction. If you're not doing this, you're doing something else. It's like tomato. You know what I mean? So just like what me and Jenny are doing now is creating a different mindset than if we weren't doing this right now, right? If you were doing something else, you'd be focused on that and vice versa. So a lot of it is refocusing with who you're having your conversations with and from. So if you just decide, hey, let me just adjust the channels here. Like if you like country, maybe one week you do rock, right? And you say, I want to just listen to this type of information. And LinkedIn Live and LinkedIn has that potential that you can identify who it is you want to learn from, listen to, read whatever they're doing, find out who's following them. I mean, you could be a super fan and maybe get involved and participate with that, break free. And I think that's what me and Jenny are really alluding to is people are plateaued in so many ways and they just need to break through. You know, once they can get through whatever it is that's holding them back, now they don't have the resistance. Now they've got the confidence that they just broke through. You know how happy it is to find safety after you've been in the woods and lost?
Yeah.
Right? And that's really what you need to do is get people to safety. You know, save them first, you know, get them to shore and then work on their issues. Right? Too many people want to do just add water and everything's fine.
Yeah, it's you know what? I feel like the anticipation of taking that first step forward in anything is usually the scariest part. Because once you take the step, you realize it's not that scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
That was true for me when I went diving. I have a big fear of putting my head under the water. This is going to sound really stupid. And in the summer, I decided, because my whole family can dive, I decided, well, if I'm encouraging my clients to seek discomfort, I better go do it myself. So I agreed to the dive, and standing on the edge was the scariest part.
Okay.
I was almost in tears. And the instructor said to me, Jenny, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And it was like I became a toddler and somebody told me that I couldn't. I was like, I jumped in. I just let go. And once I let go and I was in the water, I realized, oh, up there was the scariest part. That's what I was worried about in anticipation of what might happen. But here I am and I'm okay. Let's see where this journey takes me. And that is something that I apply to anything scary. And it's something I encourage your viewers to consider. What good thing might get to happen if I tried something new? It doesn't have to be a big leap. It can be a small step, but if it's a step forward, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's very, very profound and valuable. And I think on LinkedIn, you can find that person or that group or create that group yourself that says, you know, I can have a board of directors, if you want to call it that, of 5 people pretty easily. I just got to be the string that puts the pearls together, you know, finds the ones that are most aligned and find the ones that are most giving. You know, it's like how open can someone be and, you know, on a professional level, but really get to the point where they're not opaque. You know, everything is out there and everything is discussable, I guess, you know, if that's a word. And then people like to know that it's the first step that's always the hardest, because after the first one, 2 things happen. You think, why was I so caught up in this?
What took me so long? That was my question. What took me so long?
And the second thing is the next time will be easier.
Yeah, agreed.
You know,
and that is true for anything. When you're scared of anything and you recognize that you will survive this, if it worked in this area, maybe I can map it over into other areas and see how it works over here, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. If we're living in fear in one area of our life and we're afraid of what might happen, what we might lose, we're likely experiencing the same level of fear in many other aspects of our lives. So it's potentially keeping you stuck exactly where you are.
Yeah, that is so true. And there's so many people who have the potential, who
Hmm.
have the capability, who
Yeah.
actually have the experience of success in their past because everybody won at something sometime,
Yeah.
right? Everybody got their big bowling game one day. Somebody got an award. Someone got a compliment. Someone won a prize. It doesn't matter. Everybody was a winner.
Hmm.
For how long? Well, that's up to fate. But the point is first of all, it shows you can win because you
Hmm.
have. Second thing is you can win again. And at the end of the day, you're the one who determines what makes for a winner.
Oh my gosh. And can I also say that this is what I tell my kids. Hey, winning is easy. It's how you show up when things don't go your way will really showcase your greatest personal strengths. And they don't want to hear that because they want to win at everything. And I'm like, well, that's not how life works. You don't win at everything. It doesn't always go your way, but that's how you uncover the strongest version of yourself. How did I show up in any given moment when something went wrong? Winning is easy.
Well, once one can learn how winning can be easy for themselves, then there should be a renewed dedication to help other people win,
Yeah,
right? I mean, who wants
it's
to be on the
true.
stage by themselves, right? It'd be,
Lots of people, Don.
I mean, nice to have everybody with trophies and people taking pictures and
Yeah,
families getting excited for them, and that's there because you choose the games you play. You choose what makes a winner in those games.
hmm,
That's why gratitude is so important. If you start the day already feeling like you're such a winner just based on what you have, right? That everything else is either gravy or now who needs to win? Who doesn't have everything, right? And could use a little inspiration or support. And I think there's so much more to building people to the point where they can come together as equals with other people and then see how they can collectively do better because opportunity is based on your next thought, right? Whatever your next thought is, that's your value that you bring. And that's the beauty of it is the past does not have to define the future,
yeah.
right? And you can have a bigger thought, a bigger intention, and a better score of yourself.
Right. Community over competition. How about working together and everybody levels up? How
Yeah, and how
about,
about accepting each other for
yeah,
what everybody is?
yes, and being curious about what's driving a person's perspective. Who says who says you're right about everything? I work
Who,
with people a
who
lot
even
on that.
wants to be right about anything?
Lots of people want to be right because they want to be the loudest voice in the room because they want to feel seen and heard.
Yeah, well, there's a value there that I think everything one says disappears as soon as they say it with something that replaces it. So to stand on what was or what one did and not focus on what you can do
Mm-hmm.
and where you could take it, is like putting an emergency brake on when you're trying to go fast.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to do is open everybody's lanes up, give them full field and root them on. The thing is winning is so much more fun when people are laughing and having a good time,
Agreed.
right? Even
Yeah,
losing is fun if the party's good enough afterwards. and there's always tomorrow's game, right? There's not always last
exactly.
night's party. So, I think if people just look at it as the final benefit that one gets is, did you go to sleep happy tonight? Right?
Yeah.
We
What
was
went
this,
well today? You
yeah,
made it through another day. Yeah, exactly.
that's it, right? Once you got there, what more can there be?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get another shot at it tomorrow to replicate or make it better. And I think that's what people want on any level is where's the fun? Where's the excitement? Where's the energy? Where's the enthusiasm? Because most people are out of gas because no one filled them up lately.
Is it somebody's job to fill another person up, though?
Well, you're so right, because at the end of the day, one can fill themselves up while they're waiting for or thinking that just by.
Well, honestly, I have news flash. It's nobody's responsibility to make you happy. You are completely responsible for your own happiness. And that was like what hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was playing the blame game. Well, I'm unhappy because of this, or it's everybody else's fault. I'm stuck here. There's nothing here for me. I have to stay here because my kids are. Yeah, I played that game for 9 years. And when I realized, oh, it's actually nobody's responsibility to make me happy. It's up to me to discover what makes me happy and to pursue that happiness myself. And honestly, it was a game changer, because I'm like, oh, I get to design this map to my future. I get to discover what really lights me up. I get to discover my purpose. It's no longer about anybody else but me. And guess what else? I'm not responsible for anyone's happiness either, which relieves so much pressure, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. So when you're trying to make everybody happy, you're not paying attention to yourself. And it's also a perfect distraction from looking within.
Yeah, and you're actually taking their opportunity to make you happy away, by spending so much time trying to please everybody. It's like someone who does all the cooking and they never sit down and eat with anybody. And everybody around the table said, forget it, but just sit with us, right? And they're so busy serving instead of being served.
Or just being a part of the whole event.
Right.
Let's start seeing food as an experience. We were actually in a friend's house for dinner on Sunday, and I finally had to say to the guy, he did all the cooking, but I was like, you are like a jack in the box. I feel like we've not even had a conversation at the table. Can you please sit? Oh, I just want to make sure. I'm like, no, everything's here. We came over to experience this meal with you as our friends. Do me a favor and share the time with us while we have it.
Well, you see, that's an example of someone who goes a little bit overboard to impress, right? I mean, how many times you go to a friend's house and you just sit down and you just go to the refrigerator yourself and get something, where the whole idea is not to go there to someone make a meal or serve, is to hang out.
Yeah, it's just to be together. Or you go to somebody's house and they say, please don't look around, it's a mess. I'm like, I didn't come to see your house. I came to see you. We don't have a whole lot of time. So when we're together, believe it when I tell you, I'm not looking at your messy countertop. I'm just here to see you.
Well, that's really by being kind of who you are. I think there's people who really have a sense of urgency and enjoy getting things done or doing good every day. And, it's almost like a gift, when you can serve, and I think if more people spent more time serving, they'd find out that they get served. And it's hard for people to take that into account because they've never tried it.
Gosh,
just like you're diving.
If I was giving anybody an opportunity to consider something, it would be this. All we can truly give one another is our time. Because we don't know how long any of us ever have together. So when you have an opportunity to be together, how about giving one another time and letting go of this notion that something has to be perfect, the perfect meal, the perfect location, the perfect conversation, whatever it is. Let's just be together and remember why we have this connection in the first place. Because it's a gift.
No, you're so right. And what I just thought of is all of us, there's a saying, no one gets out of here alive, but
Yeah, you said that to me before, and it
Yeah.
made me laugh. I keep thinking about it. I'm like, oh, you're right, Don. We're not getting out of here alive.
But you know what we just did today will live on for whoever wants to see it in the future. You know, and that's a gift that keeps giving. So if you can give once, but you can give forever to whoever, that makes everything even more valuable, right? Is
Right.
being able to serve more people in shorter periods of time and on their time. And that's what these LinkedIn Lives can do for people, is really get your footprint out there.
Yes,
You know,
make a memory when you're together with somebody that you care about. Make a memory.
or find somebody that you really like to work with on LinkedIn and do a LinkedIn Live together, right?
Agreed.
And now you can do the buddy plan or the workout buddy plan, where now everybody can have a little bit of fun. And you know, if you just do it because you just want to do something with somebody else, you'll do it better than if you're anticipating what does the audience want to hear today, what's
Yeah, so
cracking,
contrived that
you
way.
know?
Yeah.
Because people, they may come for your subject, but they stay for you.
Yes.
I mean, why does someone go to their hairdresser, right? A lot of people can cut hair, but there's certain people you just like, you know, being with. Makes the experience better, makes you feel better. And I think if everybody can feel better and help everybody else feel better, that's a much better platform to continue to go from, because, you know, this is our second LinkedIn Live. And, you know, it's unearthed so many thoughts and ideas and created more opportunities for new ideas. Because once you get your mindset right, and once everything aligns with it, you're there. You're not supposed to come up with a whole new creation tomorrow. You can't. It took you all your life to get to here. Now it's like, how do you communicate it?
Yeah.
You know, you just did your hit record. You know, how do you get people to listen to it and to benefit from it? So anyways, it never ends and it never should. That's what makes it interesting. But Jenny, just to close up, any final words?
I just appreciate you so much, Don, because I love our chats. I mean, honestly, we're delightful.
No, it is. I think that, you know, when I think of things I was going to say, and you said them before I was going to say them, but not before I thought it. And that happened twice today, you know, is I don't believe there's anything by accident. You know, I think everything has purpose. And no matter where you are or where you've been, you can't discount any of it because it got you to where you are.
Agreed.
Right? And everything was essential. So whether it took 9 years, the beauty of that is it's over.
Agreed. And guess what? You survived it. It was already uncomfortable. That's what I realized. I'm like, oh, seek discomfort. Guess what? I was uncomfortable all that time. I just didn't realize I had an opportunity to create something new. I didn't slow down enough to make myself a priority. Bump myself to the top of the priority list. That's okay too.
Yeah, and that's where reinvention is what it's all about. So anyways, with that, thank you, audience. I know we got into a lot of different things. Hopefully one or two of those things might ignite, you know, some fire that makes you more curious or interested in helping yourself. And look forward to sharing more insights with Jenny and you in the future. So thank you, everybody. Have a safe and enjoyable day. Bye for now.